He has no court date at this time. And I want to thank the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office for their relentless efforts in pursuit of solving this case. And I also want to thank the TBI forensic team and investigators for their cooperation and their meticulous attention to detail to this case that made this day possible. Thank you.
Thank you, General. Good morning. I'm Sheriff Jeff Cassidy, Sullivan County Sheriff. I want to thank everyone for attending the press conference today to witness a pure desire to pursue justice. Captain Frazier, our detectives, worked tirelessly and relentlessly to solve this 27-year-old murder of 17-year-old James Hudson and the sexual assault of his mother, Mary. I want to thank our partners with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation and the District Attorney's Office to ensure justice will now be served for the victims that are no longer with us. I also hope this gives a little bit of closure to the family. Although the pain will always be there, we are pleased we can give you some sort of peace and comfort knowing the defendant in this case did not escape justice and now must pay for the pain he has caused them. This investigation started in September of 1997. The Sullivan County Sheriff's Office patrol deputies and detectives responded to a report of a break-in and brutal attack at a home at the 400 block of Rock Springs Road in Kingsport. Upon arrival, they found James Hudson deceased. He had been stabbed multiple times. His mother, Mary Hudson, had been sexually assaulted. As part of this investigation, the scene was processed and DNA evidence was collected and submitted to the crime lab. At that time, a DNA profile was developed and entered into CODIS, which is the combined DNA index system, but no match was found. That usually means the suspect likely had no criminal history, but despite extensive efforts, the case remained unsolved and grew cold. In 2023, detectives responded to the case and reopened the case and began reviewing the evidence. Working alongside Tennessee Bureau of Investigation agents as part of their cold case initiative, DNA evidence was submitted to a private lab in Texas for forensic genetic genealogy testing. Scientists there identified George Robinson, to my left here as a picture, as a potential suspect. Detectives located Mr. Robinson in Kingsport and obtained a DNA sample from him. That sample was sent to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation Crime Lab, and they did further testing. The TBI forensic scientists compared Robinson's DNA with the DNA profile that had been entered into CODIS shortly after that and found a match. That concluded as a match and that George Robinson was the suspect our investigators have been looking for since 1997. After obtaining the warrant on Wednesday morning, detectives attempted to take Robinson into custody, where he then barricaded himself inside his apartment. This apartment is located on Hillview Drive in Kingsport. Sullivan County SWAT team then responded, attempted to negotiate with Robinson, but he refused to cooperate. After several hours, the SWAT team made entry into the apartment, at which point Robinson shot himself. He was transported to a local hospital for treatment, and at this time, Mr. Robinson remains hospitalized. To further elaborate on the TBI's cold case initiative and the type of technology used that led to the indictment of Mr. Robinson, I'd like to have Director David Rouse from the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation say a few words. Thank you, Director.
Thanks, Sheriff. Thanks, Sheriff. I want to first say that I can't imagine what the family members of James and Mary Hudson have gone through over this last 27 years. My hope is that they can start to heal now, start that healing process since we have come to this juncture in the case. I do want to commend the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office for never giving up on this case and for taking this initiative to reopen the case last year. They knew that all of our traditional methods for investigation had been exhausted at that point, but they weren't willing to stop. As the Sheriff mentioned, as part of the TBI Code Case Initiative, agents work closely with the Sullivan County detectives to submit DNA for forensic genetic genealogy testing. We were able to fund that testing through a federal grant that is specifically designated for violent crime code cases. We have seen some measurable success on using that FGG technology in testing in cases involving unidentified human remains from the 1980s and the 1990s. But this case represents the first suspect that's been identified by TBI utilizing this technology. After nearly 30 years, George Robinson likely thought that he would never be caught. But thanks to the technology and the dogged determination of these investigators, he now knows differently. I want to again thank the sheriff, his team, for their outstanding work in this case.
Wow. I'm so short. First of all, I just want to say thank you to all of you all so much. I'm so nervous. These are happy tears, but these are also tears of missing my family. It's been really, really hard. 27 years is a long time, but it always feels like yesterday to me. And I'm just so thankful for the Sullivan County Sheriff's Department, the TBI, to always continue to think about not just the victims, but us, the family members. We hurt every day. And I'm just so happy that they get the justice that they deserve and they've always deserved. And I just don't know what else to say, but I'm just so thankful. And I want to thank God first and foremost. He has brought me through so much in my life, and I can still stand here strong for them. So thank you very much.
Okay, we'll open it up for questions now to investigators only. The family's not taking questions, but if you have any questions that you want to direct to the district attorney or the investigators involved, feel free at this point.
Sheriff Cassidy, why is it important to reopen these cold cases? As they mentioned, it's been almost 30 years.
Oh, it's extremely important, yeah. Just like they said, I mean, the family's still hurting. It's just extremely difficult process. I couldn't imagine going 27 years without some answers, some sort of closure, and then justice. You know, these individuals commit these crimes, and this is actually our second cold case that we've solved in the last year. And these investigators have families, sisters, brothers, moms, and dads too. So we take these things personal, and we don't ever want to shut something down when we got family involved.
Sheriff, does the suspect have any priors?
General Staubus, do you know of any prior history, criminal
Does
history?
have prior history?
Yeah.
I'll let,
Sorry, Director's got the.
Yeah, he does have a prior history, and he has a history since, but nothing that would, and this leads to a thing that I have been having a lot of conversation with a number of lawmakers about. And he has had arrests since this incident. Unfortunately, in Tennessee, there are very strict limits on when we can take DNA. And I believe that we need to change that. I believe we need to, I've had conversations, I personally believe that we should be taking DNA, it's a biometric, it's no different than fingerprints. We've gotten much more sophisticated. I believe we should be taking DNA off of all arrestees. And had we, so there are some who want to slow walk that. And I'm okay if you want to slow walk it. Let's start with all felony arrests. If we had done that shortly after this incident, his DNA would have hit in the system in 1997. Because shortly after this incident, he was arrested for another burglary. And had his DNA been in the system, we would have captured him, and this would have been solved much sooner. So I'm on a crusade, if you will, to encourage our legislators to think about this as we move forward. DNA is nothing more than another biometric. It's nothing special. It's nothing different. If we collect DNA when we take fingerprints, and all it is a swab, and this DNA confusion is nothing that, you know, there's this belief that we'll suddenly have all of your medical history, and but that's not what we collect. All we get is a sample that gives me a series of numbers, and we can compare those numbers to determine if that number meets your number, and it's another clue for us to be able to solve crime. And so he does have a criminal history. Had we had DNA testing on arrests, and specifically felony arrests, he would have been discovered sooner. This family wouldn't have had to go through these years of pain had we had that in place. And so I think that's critical for us as we move forward. This case highlights the importance of that.
Thank you, Director.
Anybody else?
Yes, does Sullivan County have any other cold cases like this that still need to be solved?
No, sir, we don't. I actually wanted Captain Richard Frazier to come up and just say a few words about the work that the investigators put into this. Detective Clemens, Sergeant Harrison, Lieutenant Matt Price, and it just goes beyond measure, the work that they put in. They worked right next to my office, and I got to see him trying to put this puzzle together, and it was just amazing. I'd like for him to just say a few words, but other than maybe, was it a missing child? One? Okay, come on up, Cap. Yeah, we got one more unsolved.
Thank you, Sheriff. Like I said, my name's Captain Richard Frazier. I'm over the Criminal Investigations Division. Kind of echo what he said. I do want to kind of name our little investigative team. Sergeant Robbie Clemens is he's gonna be a lead on this case. You have Lieutenant Matt Price. You have Sergeant Matt Harrison, all of Sullivan County. You have Special Agent Blake Ketchner and Special Agent Brandon Elkins, and then Special Agent in Charge Chris Wilhoit in the back from TBI. So we have a very good working relationship with the TBI. This started probably early 2023. We had to reopen the case. I've got a little bit of personal connection with this case. I knew James. I went all through school with James, up through high school. So I had a little bit more personal, and I lived in Colonial Heights at the time. It was kind of, I know what it did to my community, and I know what it kind of did to my generation, because it was kind of a shocking thing for us to kind of endure, and then things like that really didn't happen down there at the time. So we went through hundreds of statements. We had to go back through the evidence. We had to go through all the forensics and kind of break everything down. We ran leads all the way Alaska, all the way out to the Midwest. So we had to go back through all these rumors, hearsay. We had to go through all that just to kind of to cross that off the box. I do want to give a shout out to Bobby Russell. Bobby did an excellent job, and if it wasn't for the detectives back in '97 packaging this evidence correctly, we wouldn't be where we're at. So we tossed it around, and we went as far as we could. And it's only by the grace of God that we are kind of where we're at. Just so happened that me and Special Agent Elkins went to the police academy together, so we had a pretty good relationship already established. And he ended up over the cold case initiative, so everything just kind of circled around and came together for us. So that's kind of where it went to. We spent a lot of time waiting on just forensics to come back. So thank you all.
Thank you, Captain.
Let me make one more comment on the code case effort that we have going on. So currently at TBI we have one code case investigator. That's Brandon. He is it. We have a request before the governor and that we will push forward in our budget, and that is for a code case unit. And mentioned is they may have one more case here, but we have hundreds of these cases throughout the state of Tennessee. And one of the things that we know based on research, frankly, is in order to impact violent crime, code case units are absolutely critical for that effort. And so we hope that that this is taken and that, again, that the request is acted upon so that we are able to do more of these and be able to help families such as this one get some answers. And that's another effort that we're pushing. You know, we're constantly looking at these cases. Brandon has been going over the cases that we hold at TBI. And then, of course, I know that our partners in local policing do the same in their communities. They do the same thing. And there's not one certain thing. It's just that when you get fresh eyes on a case and you start looking through it, what you hope to find is that one piece that will move you into a direction. And currently, frankly, with the improvements in DNA technology, that has become something that we're seeing some great results with, as in this case, is being able to use that DNA, get it through to the company that we use to run the information on their source database, to be able to hopefully find some form of a connection in someone's genetic genealogy. And so that's really where these cases have been taking off, is in that space. And so, there's not one specific thing. It really is just finding that one little piece of information that'll help. And in this case, it was the DNA.
His DNA wasn't in the system in '97, but how did it eventually find its way to the system?
So it did not until we got the testing done on the forensic genetic genealogy. So when this DNA was sent down to the lab to test to see if there is any genetic genealogy case, and basically what they do is they look to see if they have DNA that would match to show a familial connection. And when they